can be assured that some sad stuff will probably happen in Avengers 4. We mean, how else could they follow up the dusting that happened at the end of Infinity War? I still haven't stopped crying. We're sure some pretty cool things will happen in the film too, but it's gonna have its fair share of dark moments. Warning, there will certainly be spoilers. Ye here be spoilers. Before we begin, subscribe to CBR and ring that bell to join our notification squad so you never miss a video. Without further ado, let's get into some sad things that may happen in Avengers 4.
Oh, Meek, you're alive! He's alive, guys. What was your question again, bro?
Return from the dust. Our hearts still break a little thinking about Peter Parker dying in Tony Stark's arms and all the other heroes turning to dust. But we're certain they'll be brought back, not just because more than half of them have movies coming out, but because Marvel killed off some major money-making characters. It's kind of financial suicide to kill off a character as important as Black Panther, who was just brought into the Marvel world with a movie that was just outstanding. However, things do get a little sadder when you think about the veteran Marvel actors whose contracts are up after Avengers 4. It breaks the fourth wall a bit, but due to real life, we may end up saying goodbye to some of our favorite actors if they don't renew their contracts after Avengers 4.
You're afraid
Of you.
of death.
Long gone. While those who died at the end of Infinity War will probably be brought back, those who died before Thanos' snap probably won't. It's a bummer, but it makes sense. Avengers 4 can't have that happy of an ending. Everyone can't get all married to Pepper Potts, retire, and live happily ever after, right? Right? It would take away from the emotional impact of Infinity War. Faves like Loki, Heimdall, and Vision are all characters who aren't necessary to the future of the MCU. Plus, their demises kinda work with their storylines, like Loki's chance to finally redeem himself.
There must be some kind of peaceful resolution to this, fellas. Or even a violent one where I'm standing over there.
Retire. It's a strong possibility that some superheroes will retire in Avengers 4. We saw in AntMan and the Wasp that heroes going against the Sokovia Accords were still being hunted down and turned to dust. Or they saw all their loved ones turn to dust. Either way, it might put a damper on a superhero's calling. That makes sense though, because who doesn't want to see Hawkeye cozy up with his adorable family and never have to worry about their safety ever again? It'd be sad either way. Either you lose your favorite superhero in some horrible death, or they retire from being a superhero. Trust us, we want Bruce Banner and the Black Widow to run off into the sunset just as much as everyone else does. I'm playing hide the cucumber.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
Thanos will die. Thanos dying isn't really a sad thing unless you loved him as a supervillain, but we have to admit he's one of the coolest villains in MCU history, so losing him, while ultimately necessary, will be a slight bummer, especially compared to some of the lackluster villains that the Marvel heroes have faced in the past. Malekith. Thanos' storyline has reached full maturity alongside of the original Avengers, so his arc must end with theirs. Regardless, it'll probably be a badass death scene. Let's just hope that whatever bad guy Marvel sees as his successor is enough to top the Mad Titan.
We try to save as many people as we can. Sometimes it doesn't mean everybody.
Aftermath? While our heroes will undoubtedly be brought back, what about the rest of the half of the population Thanos took out? We're hard-pressed to believe everyone is going to come back, so how will Avengers 4 deal with this world they now all have to live in? Their friends, loved ones, neighbors are all gone. On top of that, what about the people who happen to be in the airplanes or cars whose pilots or drivers happen to get dusted? We're curious to know how the movie will tackle this depiction of loss and how it affects those who survived.
Guys, come on, man. We got bigger fish to fry.
What about Ant-Man? Spoilers ahead if you haven't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp. Spoilers. Said it again. Spoilers. In the post-credit scene, Paul Rudd is in the quantum realm collecting some healing particles, and when he calls out to Hope and the rest of the Van Dyne family to get resized, they've already been turned to dust by Thanos. So not only does he have to get out of the quantum realm, he'll have to face the loss of his love and her family, not to mention the potential loss of his daughter. Major bummer.
Careful what you say around these folks. They're easily offended. The cost of transgression is death.
What about the Guardians? After Gamora was killed by Thanos and Star-Lord and Little Groot were killed by Thanos' finger snap, there are only two members left in the Guardians, Nebula and Rocket Raccoon. Who are they without their leader? Will they disband? It'll be tough to see Rocket with even less in his life. We're assuming that the death by snapping heroes will be brought back, but what about Gamora? How would Star-Lord act knowing that the love of his life is gone forever? All of these are painful plot points for Avengers 4, or even Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
You've spent your whole life trying to widen that keyhole, to see more, to know more.
Leaked set photos. The leaked Avengers 4 set photos feature the New York set that was used in the final Infinity War battle scene, where everyone met their demise. So this means we'll certainly return to the scene of the crime, but why and how? Did Tony Stark somehow figure out how to time travel, or at least get off Titan? Is he trying to reverse what happened? We bet it won't be easy for Tony or any other surviving Avenger to pick up the pieces and try to save the day in a dusted New York, but it's something we're sure to see.
Captain Marvel, you are needed.
My first day off in months, and now I get the call.
Captain Marvel. A lot of fans think Captain Marvel, real name Carol Danvers, is going to be the one to save the day in Avengers 4, and we can't blame them for thinking that. The post-credit scene in Infinity War showed a symbol on Nick Fury's space-age beeper that happens to be Captain Marvel's logo. With the Captain Marvel prequel coming out a couple of months before Avengers 4, the storyline may hinge on the actions of Captain Marvel. This kind of makes us extra protective of her. Let's just say that we really don't want to see Captain Marvel get introduced and then killed off in the next movie. That's pretty much what happened to Black Panther, and we weren't into it.
Doctor.
Mr. Doctor.
It's strange.
Doctor Strange will also save the day. Benedict Cumberbatch was one of the few actors who actually got to read the entire script for the two final Avengers movies, meaning that Doctor Strange likely plays a very prominent role in Avengers 4. This is interesting, seeing as he was one of the many characters who turned to dust. We could definitely see him acting as something of an anchor for the dimensional travelers, given how much experience he has with it. But we saw the emotional toll it took on Doctor Strange to make the tough call about his friends dying and the ominous endgame, so any version of Strange we see again will undoubtedly be distraught.
I think it's good, except it sucks. So let me do the plan, and that way it might be really good.
There you have it. What do you think will happen in the next Avengers movie? Who do you think won't be brought back? Let us know in the comment section below, and make sure you subscribe to CBR to stay up to date with all our awesome videos. Thanks for watching.